is recorded and will end up on the council webpage. I think we're doing it every Monday now. We're putting these videos up and on YouTube and the council channel. So just want to give us the apologies again, Carol, just for the record.
Certainly. Apologies from Councillor Maguire, Councillor McEwen, Karen MacDonald from the YMCA. Amanda Reid is substituting for Karen. John Kennedy sends his apologies. Isabella's substituting for him. And that's the only apologies that I have. Well, Blair Ross, if he doesn't join us, he will put his apologies in.
Okay. Do we have any declarations of interest or transparency statements? So for the new members, this is where maybe you might have an application in. Your organisation might have an application in. You would normally declare an interest and leave the meeting while that application is being discussed, or there might be an item in the papers which is talking specifically about your organisation. Would generally expect you to leave. I'm not entirely sure, Stuart, whether you've done a briefing with the new members and declarations of interest.
I've not in declarations of interest, Councillor Shaw, but I've spoken to most of the new members today, just about how the meeting's conducted. Okay,
that's good. I don't think there was applications in from some of the new members. The Sea Scouts had an application in where they would have declared an interest, but Blair's not here. And the Renfrew High Parent Council would probably have been a declaration of interest from the Renfrew High pupils, but they're not here either, so they're okay. Do we have any other declarations of interest, Kerry?
Yeah, so obviously I've got a declaration of interest for the Renfrew Development Trust applications.
Okay. Amanda?
Renfrew YMCA have also got an application in.
Okay, that's cool. Thank you very much. Jim?
Thanks, John. Just to declare a connection with the Renfrew Town Sea Scouts application, as my son attends the Sea Scouts, but there's no direct financial implication for me. I'll stay and take part.
Okay. Kilternewt Parent Council also have an application in, and I attend Kilternewt Parent Council, so I'll be handing the meeting over to Amanda. Kerry at that point. Amanda's heart sank. Hand it over to Kerry at that point, and she can deal with that application. I'll leave the meeting. Okay. First item on the agenda is the minutes of the last meeting, the meeting of the 25th of April. Do we have any questions or comments on that? Amanda, is your hand still up? Is it a legacy hand or?
It's a legacy hand. I'm not sure how to get it
up. Okay. The minutes of the previous meeting, do we have any questions or comments, or are we okay to agree the minutes? We can agree the minutes. Second item on the agenda is the appointment of the Vice Chair. I would like to nominate Kerry Russell, if that's okay, from Renfrew Development Trust. If anyone else has any nominations, we'd be happy to hear them, but given Kerry's experience, I think she would be a great asset as Vice Convener or Vice Chair. Are we okay with that? Can I have a seconder?
I'll second.
Okay. Councillor Hughes. Okay, well, that's you, Vice Chair, Kerry. The next item on the agenda is the welcome of the new members. So we had at the last meeting, all the councils got together at the end of the session and had a discussion about some of the applications that we had in for new members, and obviously we had some of the older members looking to come back on as well. So we have two new members, and Stuart Wild and Blair Ross. Stuart from Renfrew Vics and Blair Ross from Renfrew Town Sea Scouts, both who've got done huge amounts of work with their organisations, and well, progressing their organisations and massive amounts for the work for the town. Stuart, I know personally the amount of work he's done in the refurbishing the pavilion up there, and bringing in the schools and getting the schools involved, and using whatever pots of money he can find under any trees anywhere to try and advance his cause and better the local area. So welcome to them both. Kerry Russell as well, who is the Development Trust are not new. They've been on members previously, but this is Kerry's joined as well, which given Kerry's background, as I said, will be hopefully a real bonus for the local partnership. And also, let's not forget our schools. We discussed a few months ago about the possibility of having the schools on board. We had 2 people from Renfrewshire along at the last meeting, and they certainly kept us on our toes, Erin. So you've got a hard act to follow here. So it's good to see that both schools involved, and hopefully they've got lots of good things to say over the coming months. So welcome to all of the new members, and also welcome back to all of the older members. He's all past vetting, so that's great to see he's back. So thank you. I don't know if anybody's got anything else to add to that. Anything else? Any comments? Nope. Okay, we'll move on to the local partnership budget monitoring and feedback report. So this is a report which just kind of outlines how our funding's gone in the previous year, what we've outlined, and how we are looking forward, what money's available. So Stuart will talk us through this, so we get to say on this, Stuart.
Hey, thanks, Councillor Shaw. So as Councillor Shaw said, it's just really a summary of the projects that were awarded funding last year, and you'll see from the first table there that all those amounts were paid out, apart from Friends of Robertson Park, and that project is still to commence. We also ask, again for the benefit of new members, we ask every year if you've received an award to give us some feedback about how that award was spent and what the impact has been. So you'll see there that apart from one project, the Robertson Park Bowling Club, we've had all the feedback from all the projects that have commenced. Friends of Robertson Park obviously is still to commence, and the back end of the report gives you the detail of everything that's been fed back to us in terms of the impact and how the spending went. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Stuart. The Friends of Robertson Park project, I think, was kind of delayed by a change of staff at the council. Somebody had left or retired, and somebody new had come along and taken over, and it kind of fallen down a hole somewhere. But it's now back live again, and I believe there was some work done last week, and there's quotes coming in. So hopefully we'll see the new dog run fairly soon. In terms of the feedback reports, I'd kind of pushed back quite a bit on this one this year. I think it's important that these feedback reports coming back in, if you're going to get thousands of pounds from a local partnership, then the local partnership wants to hear, how that money's been spent and how it's benefiting the local community. So I'd said to Stuart, if there are applicants who haven't provided feedback and they're looking for more money, they might find it a wee bit more difficult. We might look to continue these applications until we get feedback, and just to try and get things moving. So all of a sudden we had all the feedback reports in apart from one. So that was quite successful, and I think we'll continue to do that. So thanks for that, Stuart. Now on to the high point of the year. The first lot of applications for local partnership funding to the local partnership. For the new members, we're very lucky in Renfrew in that we've got additional common good funding. Most, in fact, all other local partnerships across the council area have a much smaller pot of money to share out, which means that it can be very competitive in looking for these grants, because they're always oversubscribed. None of the other local partnerships have any money left to do anything else with. We've been able to run different projects and fund things the local partnership wanted to fund. Other local partnerships are not able to do that. So as I say, we're very lucky to have that common good funding. what I normally do, and what's worked okay over the last few years, and hopefully it's still okay, is rather than go through every single application individually, which could take us hours and does take some other local partnerships hours, I would propose that I run through the applications, because a lot of the applications are fairly cut and dried as to, it's a no-brainer that this funding should be awarded. So I'd propose that we run through the applications that I think are fine. And if you've got any comments or anything you want to question on it, or maybe you don't think they're fine, then just say. But we'll approve them in a batch. I'll then do the ones the same for the ones which I don't think are fine, which are mainly applications that don't relate to Renfrew. So in past years, we used to get applications in where it might be a group in Paisley who are running something in Paisley and would claim that, well, because 3 people come from Renfrew to go along to their group, they should be getting £3,000 from the Renfrew Local Partnership. When I started chairing the local partnership 7 years ago, I stopped that. If you want money from the Renfrew Local Partnership, you have to be from Renfrew. You have to be a group in Renfrew, or you have to be running something in Renfrew or providing a service in Renfrew. So there's no money heading out of Renfrew. There's no money leaking out to all the money we have. It's all Renfrew's money, so we're spending it in Renfrew. So a lot of these applications which are not connected to it, they're not Renfrew-based organisations, or they're not having their events or their groups or whatever in Renfrew, then it's been a refusal from us for the last few years. But again, if you've got any issues with any of it, or you want to question anything, then please do. There's then some applications which I'd suggest merit some further discussion. So that might be as to the amount of money they've applied for, or what the actual, what it is they're actually trying to do. So I'll run through them as well. And then finally, I'll take the applications which have had a declaration of interest again. So we take all them together and make the different people can drop out, and we'll just do it that way. So I'll start off with the applications which I feel are of merit and should be approved. So the first one would be the first custom cruisers application for the community mental health group. Custom cruisers, I've got another one in for parent and young people support group. These are 2 distinctly separate groups that are running, so I'm happy that we approve both of them. The Renfrew Ladies and Girls FC goals and equipment, I'm happy we approved that one. Paisley Pirates, we've approved the Pirates for several years now. In fact, one year we stopped the Pirates going out of business. Or we were able to help with local partnership funding. They play at Bray Head, so unfortunately they're not going to change their name to Renfrew Pirates, but they are certainly based in Renfrew. The Renfrew High Parent Council application. This is over the kind of guideline that was suggested, the £5,000 guideline, but we as a local partnership are able to use common good funding to take it above. So I'm happy that one should be approved. Renfrew Town Sea Scouts, again, I'm happy that should be approved. Renfrewshire Toy Bank have done amazing work over the last few years. I think it's over 400 children in Renfrew alone that they've supported. So happy to do that. St James Primary School Parent Group, again, happy to approve that. And I was going to talk about the YMCA there, but I can't until the end, so I'll leave that at the moment. So does anybody have any questions or comments in that first batch that were okay to approve? Or I'm suggesting we approve? Everybody okay with that? Okay, good stuff. So we'll take them all as approved. Did I mention? Oh, no, I didn't. That's okay. The next ones are the ones that I'd suggest we don't approve because they're not connected to us. They should be applying elsewhere. So the first of them would be the Paisley Sea Cadets, Bredlin's Hall. So this is for hall improvements and running costs in a hall somewhere else. It's not in Renfrew. Ream is for the drop-in centre, which is in Paisley. The Scottish Afro-Caribbean Arts Association, again, it's Paisley based. The Renfrewshire Walking Network, which I believe is Linwood. Women's Aid, which again is in Paisley. SAFA, I understand, is a Glasgow project and is backed by Glasgow City Council. Rainbow Turtle, again, is Paisley. Right to Dance, I'm not entirely sure where that is, but it's not in Renfrew. Rays of Hope, again, I think that's over on the other side of the council area. Storm Gymnastics, same issue. Pace, it's based in Paisley. You know, it's a great setup they have, but you know, it's Paisley based. It's not something they're running in Renfrew. Own Your Bike, again, I think it's Paisley based. Erskine Arts is Erskine, and the Girls Brigade Clyde division, again, it's not in Renfrew. So I would suggest that all of these are refused. Does anybody have any questions or comments on that? Everybody okay to refuse them? Yep, okay. So next to the ones that I'd suggest probably need a bit more discussion. The first one of these is Dates and Mates. Dates and Mates are a great organisation and do some great work, but they're applying for the maximum pot here, the maximum, you know, for the guidelines of £5,000. The vast majority of the stuff that Dates and Mates do is not in Renfrew, and we've talked to them. We've given them money in the past, and we've talked to them about running more events in Renfrew. But unfortunately, it still seems to be, and it's probably just it's a lot easier for some of their members to get to the centre of Paisley or wherever. But you know, they don't do a lot in Renfrew, so I'd suggest that rather than 5,000, we give them 5,000, we give them £500. So they are getting some money for us. It allows them to do some of the sort of smaller things that they do in Renfrew. But I'd suggest that giving them the 5,000 is just too much considering what they actually do in Renfrew. Is everybody okay with that? Does anybody have any questions or comments? Okay.
Councillor Shaw, can I just double check that is application FR 1041?
Yep. Dates
Okay,
and
thank you.
Mates.
Yep, that's fine.
Forever Young, FR 1057. Again, this is a regular application we get in. Forever Young have 5 facilities across Renfrewshire, as I understand it. They've applied to 4 local partnership areas. The other 3 local partnership areas they've applied for £1,000 from, but for Renfrew they've applied for 2,000 when we only have one of the 5 facilities in Renfrew. So my suggestion would be they're looking for £5,000 in total to do what they're doing. They do have, you know, they are in Renfrew, but I'd suggest that we give them, you know, a fifth of the £5,000 we're looking for, so that, you know, we are paying our fair share. So that would be £1,000 to Forever Young, if everybody's okay with that.
John, can I just jump in? My one says £2,000, not 5,000.
I was just about to say that.
Yeah, Forever Young, they are looking, no, but it's fine. There's another, I'm aware of another, they've applied to another 3 local partnership areas for £1,000 each. So they've applied across 4 local partnership areas for £5,000 for five of the facilities. So my, you know, I don't know why it does happen almost every year where they apply for more from Renfrew. Obviously, because we've got more money to give away, I suggest. But you know, I think it's only fair that we pay our fair share. So our fair share to me would be £1,000. Okay. Next one up is the FACE FR 1110. Now, I'm a great supporter and promoter of the Gaelic culture, as I'm sure some of the other councillors will confirm. But the FACE last year got, I think it was around about the same amount of money from the local partnership on the basis that we were going to be part of the Cayley Trail. There was going to be several events happened in Renfrew. We were not part of the Cayley Trail. We weren't included in the Cayley Trail. So the Cayley Trail included places like Glasgow and Edinburgh and Arran, as far as I remember. There was 3 events in Lochwinnoch and stuff like that, but there was nothing happened in Renfrew, which was a real disappointment, given the amount of money we've given them over the years. I mean, there's some other local partnerships where a lot more happens, where the local partnership gives them a lot less money. So, you know, I think there's an expectation that we're giving them an amount of money. We'd like to see what they've promised in their application happening. I'd followed that up in the autumn, and they'd made some promises about, you know, oh, we're going to do this and this over the next few months. And some of it happened, but some of it didn't. So I think it's important that, you know, if we are awarding grants, that, you know, what's said in the application actually happens. And if it's not happening, then, you know, give us the money back, or you know, let us know what else you're using it for. So I would suggest that the FACE, given, you know, there was some of the stuff missing last year, we would cut their grant from 4,574 down to 3,000, in the hope that, you know, this year they can maybe schedule some events in Renfrew as they're supposed to, or some of definitely the Cayley Trail events. I mean, there were events happen. I'm not saying nothing happened. There were events happen, but I just felt that some of the stuff that was promised didn't happen, and when some of the stuff did happen, it was very much last minute. And, you know, let's get it in here because somebody's moaning about this. So I would suggest that we award £3,000 for that for this year, if everybody is okay with that. Okay. And the last one here for a bit of discussion is Pachedu, so the Ubuntu Cultural Band and Dance Group, who are looking for £3,141 for cultural activities to bring together diverse groups living in Renfrewshire, to bring cultural activities to groups who would not have taken part otherwise. Now, we've asked them if this event is in Renfrew, and they tell us it is, but I'm a bit concerned about how much detail we have on it, and I was further concerned today when I heard that they've applied for identical funding from 5 local partnerships. So I'm not clear whether they're having 5 different events or one big event, or I'm not entirely clear what's going on. I'm also a bit concerned about £1,000 for filming, particularly if they're doing that across 5 local partnerships, or you know, applying for that over 5 local partnerships. So I would suggest, you know, great if they want to have an event in Renfrew, or they want to run something in Renfrew, that's exactly what the funding's for. But I would suggest that we make the award conditional, based on, you know, once they've confirmed their hall hire, then, you know, we'd be happy to award, you know, confirm the funding and pay out the funding. So I'm happy to cover their hall hire and the drumming and singing facilitator. The filming, I'm not so sure about. I'm not sure where, you know, I don't understand, you know, is this one event that they're going to film, or 10 events that they're going to film, or, you know, and if they're having this in 5 other different areas, I'm just not so sure about this £1,000 for filming. I'm not sure whether we make that conditional, or whether we just say, look, the film is not included in this, but we're happy to cover your hall hire and the facilitator. So I'd be interested in what other people think. Kerry, you've got a filming expert in the house. Is £1,000 is?
Yeah, £1,000 is a lot for filming one event. The only thing I can think of is maybe they've budgeted for that filming across all the events and haven't really broken it down properly when they've completed their budget. So I would be more inclined to say if they can give you a revised budget for the whole hire and drumming and singing leaders only, and fund that element of it, with the condition that the whole hire is in Renfrew, then that's one way to kind of protect that the funding's being used in Renfrew.
All right, Lisa Marie.
Yeah, Kerry stole my thunder. I agree with everything Kerry said. I also think we've got lots of local groups who do this sort of thing that they could maybe link in with and get their filming, which you can also give people experience. So they should be looking at that, really.
Okay. Is that clear, Stuart? Well,
thanks, Councillor Shaw. So we'll fund the hall hire and the drumming facilitator, and the hall hire is conditional that it's going to be definitely in Renfrew. I think the group had said that they will have some consultation about a suitable venue in Renfrew, and we won't be funding the filming, and we'll suggest to them that they can maybe link in with other local groups that do filming to see if they can get that for a more reasonable rate.
Aye, the whole thing's conditional, so the whole hire and the facilitator.
Yeah,
it's not just the
yes.
whole hire. So once they confirm where they're doing it, or they show some evidence of where they booked, then happy to go on that basis. All right, everybody okay with that? Good stuff. Thank you. All right, we'll go back to some of the declaration of interest here. I want to find it again. So Kerry, we'll get rid of you first. I'll message you on WhatsApp when you can come back in, but hopefully it shouldn't be too long.
Okay, bye.
Okay. So we've got 5 applications in from the Development Trust for 5 distinctly different parts of the Development Trust. We've got the Friends of Robertson Park, the Sensory Garden Lights, the Renfrew Heritage Group, which has been a roaring success, the Renfrew Men's Shed, which is really taking off and doing some great work, the Craft Club, and the Foodie Bags. Now, my suggestion here would be that the Sensory Garden Lights is approved, the Heritage Group is approved, the Men's Shed is approved, and the Craft Club is approved. I suggest we would refuse the Foodie Bags application purely because there is other council funding available for that. That's probably more appropriate. They've been running this Foodie Bag project for a while, and the funding has come from elsewhere during that time. They've never had funding from the local partnership previously for this. And I understand there is a fairer food fund which the council administers, which will be available later in the year, which they'd be able to apply for. So I'd suggest we approve 4 out of the 5, unless anybody's got any questions or comments or any strong thoughts. Otherwise, are we okay with that? Good stuff. I'll message Kerry. For a few minutes, come back in. She went away to make a cup of tea or something, probably because she thought this would take forever. So
That's her just coming in.
it's coming back in. Hello.
Hello.
Okay. Who's next? So we've done Renfrew High Parent Council, we've done RTSS. I think it's me that has to leave now. Is that the only other one there's a declaration of interest, is it? Oh no, Amanda. We didn't do the YMCA, did we? No. So
No, not yet.
Amanda, do you want to go just now and just come back in a minute or so?
Yeah.
Good stuff. So Renfrew YMCA, again, we funded lots of projects over the years with the YMCA. The YMCA ran the murals project for us. They've done some great work over the years, so I've got no hesitation in suggesting that we approve this one. Does anybody else Any thoughts, comments? No, they're all very quiet. You're realising that other local partnerships, there's like stand-up fights about these applications. Stuart was telling me. It all gets a bit noisy. This doesn't happen in Renfrew. Okay, let's wait for Amanda to come back.
I've just put something in the chat for her, Councillor Shaw.
Okay.
Hopefully she'll see that. That's her coming in now.
Cool. So it's just Kilkenny Parent Council one to consider now. So I'll disappear and somebody can let me know when to come back in and leave Kerry to chair. Thanks, folks.
I'll put a message on your chat, Councillor Shaw. He's away.
Hello. So I don't think there's any issues with the Kirklenuke, what was it called? Kirky Safe Adventure from the Kirklenuke Primary School for the play park equipment. Has anybody got any issue with approving that? Well, that's nice and simple. Thank you very much. So just approve that if that's okay, Stuart. And then I will text John to say to come back.
Okay.
I've just put a wee message on the chat, so hopefully we'll see that, Kerry. Hi, Councillor Shaw.
Hello. Okay. That's great. So that's all the funding applications covered. I haven't missed anything. Carol, Stuart. No.
Nope, that's
Okay.
that's the
No.
Thanks very much. So item 6 is an agenda item I'd asked for just as a kind of discussion as to the local partnership at times can seem a bit repetitive in some of the reports and things we're seeing and talking about, and I just wanted to hear what you guys think we should be talking about in the months to come. We might not be able to talk about them all, but certainly I'd love to hear your thoughts and what we should be discussing or what we should be doing. So anybody, let me know. Stuart, you look as if you're full of ideas there. Nope.
I'm quite happy to chip in with some of my, because obviously I'm just new,
Yep.
so I'm just looking at the paperwork and having a look through. So one of the things that I thought would maybe be useful is I noticed they were prompted for, as somebody who's a grant holder, we're prompted for a report kind of towards the end of the funding period, and I'm just wondering if it might be useful for the grant holders to maybe just get a kind of midpoint reminder or just a check-in to see if everything's okay, especially when we've got projects that are new, and sometimes organisations can be a bit tricky to try and get things off the ground if maybe they're having issues with permissions or maybe they can't get access to something. So I'm just wondering if there's a way to facilitate like a midpoint check-in with the grant holders.
Stuart?
Yeah, we could certainly do that, Councillor Shaw. It's a good suggestion, Kerry. So I think sometimes that's maybe what gives people the fear when they come to do their feedback, that we're checking up on them and maybe there's not something done, which if we'd known about earlier, we could have done something. So certainly we could do that. If you if you wanted to fix that at a certain meeting, we could make those contacts with the groups beforehand to bring that information back for you. Thank you.
No, that's a good idea. We'll do that. Okay. Anyone else? Stuart Wild.
No, I agree with that. I think because I was one of the ones that hadn't given feedback and had actually forgotten about it. So I think that was a great idea. But I'm just enjoying listening to everybody else talking just now, John. I'll do a bit of talking next one.
You're just warming up, aye?
I'm just watching how it goes.
Well, you know, I'm happy at any point. You know, if anybody wants to add anything in or feels that we should be talking about a particular issue, Erin, you know, particularly with, you know, and from the sort of younger person's point of view, if you feel that, you know, we should be talking about this, why aren't we talking about this? You know, let me know, because, you know, we can talk about pretty much anything here as long as it's Renfrew related. We can, you know, hopefully affect things positively. So please, you know, just give me a shout, give me a phone call, drop me an email, or just, you know, if you're at a meeting, then you know, we can talk about it at the end or whatever. But as I say, I think it's you know, there is a set agenda, there is reports, and there is things that we have to do. But out with that, you know, it's down to us how we want to shape the local partnership. And, you know, we can do lots of good in the local partnership, and hopefully we will over the next few years. But as I say, it's down to us to shape it and you know, make these things happen. So as I say, any ideas, just let me know. Carol.
Yeah, it was just to say, I clerk the Forum for Empowering Communities, and before each meeting, maybe about 3-4 weeks before each meeting, I will send an email out just reminding members that the meeting is coming up, and just to see if they've got any items for the agenda. And it's a wee aid memoir, because sometimes, you know, the meeting's on you before you know it. So I don't know if you would be happy for me to do that, Councillor Shaw, just sending the thing out.
That's a great idea, because, you know, just want to drive ideas. So no, let's do that.
Okay.
Thanks for that.
Okay, no worries, I'll get that done.
Tom. You're on mute, Tom.
I'm off mute now.
Yep.
I think it might be a good idea. There are various organisations here, John, to be perfectly honest. I don't know what they do. And it might be good at one of the meetings for individuals to tell us what they're involved in and what their end game is. And, because as I say, there are a number of organisations I've listened to, and I'm not entirely sure. Or is there something that we can help individually, you know, a crossover, speak to another organisation and see whether there's something we can help with, or vice versa? And I'm not hearing that at the moment.
So, do you mean the new members of the local partnership? Or are you talking about external organisations that are coming to talk to us?
A little bit of both, yeah. John, actually. I think, right. Well, you know, pulling it together a little bit more, because obviously we've got our own ideas and most people looking, I'll be quite honest, for monies and grants, etc. But it'd be useful to see whether we can dovetail other organisations with that of our own.
Yeah, I mean, everybody's always interested in the money, but the money is only, you know, a small part of what the local partnership could do. So, you know, the grant award process is what, you know, perks a lot of people's ears up, you know, and that's, you know, and for some people that's their only interest. But that's not what the local partnership's about. Local partnership is about trying to make our town a bit better, and trying to effect change where it's needed. So, I mean, I'm happy to go through the organisations that are here at the moment. I'm sure you will know everybody once we all start talking. So why don't you go first, Tom? Tell us about yourself and who you're representing.
Well, here tonight representing Renfrew Football Club. I'm currently the president of the club and have been for a number of years. I was also involved in the acquisition of their new park at Blythswood, which you were involved yourself at one point, John. I'm also involved in a number of other organisations in Renfrewshire, not in Renfrew as such. And but I think I was also involved quite closely in Braehead. I'm no longer involved in that, but I was very much involved in that at one point. And, you know, I think there's a lot happening in Renfrew, and I thought a lot could happen. The new bridge coming over, actually, I think it'll be interesting to see what transpires and what good that brings into Renfrew. I think there's a possible traffic problem there, actually, particularly at the roundabout at Kittlinghook. And I think that's something that, you know, possibly the council's traffic department should look at, because there's lots of kids coming from the football, there's kids going to the gymnasium, etc. And the traffic already is building up to quite an extent. And, you know, I'm fearful of something happening there. I think Renfrew is not too bad as far as shopping is concerned, but I think it could be promoted more, perhaps more PR into the town. And, you know, I think there are good things to happen in Renfrew, but I think some of the organisations, I reiterate, should maybe pull together and have a concerted effort to basically promote the town in general and the potentially good things that can happen.
All right, thanks, Tom. There is a new crossing coming at that roundabout imminently over the next few weeks. There's going to be quite a bit of work going on there, so hopefully
that's good to hear, John, because at the moment, I'll be quite honest, it's downright dangerous, and I think it will get worse.
There is some the City Deal people are doing some utility diversion in a new crossing there, just at the junior side of the roundabout, so on in Shannon Road. So hopefully that makes a difference.
Well, yes, it should do.
Okay, Amanda, do you want to tell us about yourself and your organisation?
So I am the Youth and Community Development Coordinator for Renfrew YMCA, and basically our organisation is a youth work organisation. We work with all the young people in Renfrew. We do different groups throughout the week. We run Monday to Saturday, and we try and work with as many young people as possible in Renfrew.
Magic, thank you. Kerry?
Hi. So if you don't know Renfrew Development Trust, I'm one of the trustees with Renfrew Development Trust. We have been going since 2014. I joined, I think, probably about 4 years ago now, maybe a wee bit longer. And our purpose is just to help grow different projects and activities in Renfrew with the intention of hopefully them becoming their own independent groups. So we've got the Friends of Robertson Park, which is a group of volunteers who are helping develop and improve the park. So they right now are working on the sensory garden, which is near completion. They've had a hand in other bits and bobs in the park as well. Obviously, the dog run coming up. Then we've got the Renfrew Foodie Bags, which is a really, really great initiative, actually. So you get a bag, it's a free bag of food. It's given it's enough food in it to feed a family. It's got, you know, fresh fruit, fresh vegetables, butcher meat, a recipe card, everything right down to your salt and pepper. And that's given out for free, so it's stigma free. Anybody can come along, get it, and it's usually every week in Renfrew. Sometimes we'll miss a week here and there, just depending if there's other things on. We've also got the men's shed, so that's why I've got all this random guitars and stuff like that behind me. So we help set up the Renfrew men's shed, which is open 3 times a week in the Renfrew Development Trust offices down to Anderson Drive. Obviously not a fantastic location for hosting a men's shed. Again, why I've got guitars and varnishing and stuff all behind me, but it's very well attended and does some fantastic work. It's great for helping reduce isolation, giving some guys who are maybe older, retired, looking for something to do that's not just, you know, sitting in the pub. They're actually communicating with each other, breaking down those barriers, tackling isolation. We've also got a monthly craft group that's run at Trinity High. So what we do as a trust is we're trying to listen to what people in Renfrew are telling us. So when we launched the men's shed, we got a lot of people saying, well, we would like something for women, basically. So what we did was we put out and we asked for suggestions for different types of crafts. What we heard was that not everybody wanted to do the same thing every week or every month. So we have a craft group that basically changes the type of crafts that they're doing, and that's hosted at Trinity High Cafe on a Monday. I think it's the first Monday, or sorry, third Monday of the month. So it's coming this Monday, and it's all free. So they turn up. We've got a class leader who comes along, shows them all what they're doing. We provide all the craft supplies, and it's great. We've had people who come along who've, you know, been diagnosed with cancer, they're undergoing treatment, and they're just attending and able to just be a person learning a craft and not a cancer patient, not people fawning over them and going, are you okay, okay? They're just treated as an individual. So we've got lots of different women, some men as well, that come along to that. And then we've got the heritage group, which is probably one of the biggest successes, because we're now getting to the point where our heritage group is outgrowing the room that we host it in. So we have it in the Lesser Hall in Renfrew Town Hall every third Tuesday of every month. So there's one coming up this Tuesday. If you get yourselves along, it will always be fantastic. And basically we've got a local historian who comes in, and she helps, she kind of guides a talk. It's usually about something specific. It's always Renfrew based. It's always, you know, reflecting on her wee granny's memories. We usually some artifacts, lots of photographs, people bring their own stuff along, maybe share their own memories as well. We've got a variety of different ages, and we also work with the Renfrew Museum group as well. So we tie in with them. They've got 4 people who basically helped when the Renfrew Town Hall and Museum was established. These 4 people were kind of influential in that, so they've come on board as well. So we're kind of working with them, and we're also probably going to do a heritage walk in the Friends of Robertson Park. So we're tying those 2 groups together. I think that's a kind of quick summary. We've got other bits and bobs in the pipeline, but we've got lots of things that we're doing, really, really well attended, and all guided by the voices of people in Renfrew. Sorry, did ask Tom and warn you, I'm sorry.
No. Is that it?
Well, it's never enough. It's never enough.
No, doing some amazing work, and you forgot to mention the note of interest you put in for the Longcroft cottages, and hopefully
I didn't want anybody to just think that I'm assuming that we can just rock
No,
up
no.
and get it, but
No,
we've
no.
got a note of interest in, yeah.
so that was encouraging to hear. So thanks for that, Kerry. Erin, do you want to tell us about the high school? Put in the spot here. Oh, you're still on mute.
Is it off
There you
mute
are.
now?
Yep.
Just a few months ago, when John Kennedy came in, said we could put our name forward if we wanted to do it. So I just went to the interview, and then they obviously got told about this meeting. So
That's interesting that you had interviews. That means you're more qualified than any of us to be here. Because somebody actually interviewed you. The rest of us just get chucked on here. So no, it's great to have you along. And as I say, we felt it was really important that you know, we had some young people along as well to try and hear what their point of view was. So no, good to have you here. Last but not least, I think, is Stuart Wild.
Well, for anybody that doesn't know me, I'm the chairperson at Renfrew Victoria Youth Football Club. We're obviously, sorry Tom, but we're the oldest club in the town. We started in 1988, and we've now got 13 teams, along with 4 girls teams, which is just started a couple of years ago, and the numbers are growing all the time. We're now approaching the 350 mark. I'm sure everybody will agree that the facilities in the town sometimes are a wee bit stretched, with teams from out with the town using the actual grass facilities at Moorcroft and Renfrew High. But that's maybe for another meeting. We were originally based in 1988 at the old Moorcroft, the old Babcock Sports Ground. I started to help somebody in 1991, and I'm still helping now. So that was how I get involved. But we were approached back in the days to give up our lease on the sports ground, which included the weights and the cricket. Obviously, the cricket's at kgs and the weights are in the baths. So we're more than happy to do that. The town involved the sports centre. so we got offered to take over Kirtland Youth on a lease basis. So that's what we did up to 6 years ago, believe it or not, and we're still going through the process. We accepted the lease 6 years ago by asset transfer, and we're still not over the line yet. So in the last couple of years, managed to receive funding in excess of probably 160,000. We had also funds for our own club, which we had gathered up to near enough 200,000. So we've totally refurbished the clubhouse, put solar panels in the roof, so everything is eco-friendly and we're totally self-sufficient. Last year, we were approached from the SLPA regarding the DCMS funding and offered to partner with, for those of you who don't know him, Johan Cruyff, the old Dutch Barcelona master. So they're on a charity foundation called the Cruyff Foundation. So what they do is, as long as you can get a partner to partner, they will provide 50% of the funding. So the DCMS funding came up through the SLPA and were advised that that would tick the box. But during that process, before we actually got the funding, I went round some of the local schools, Kirtland Youth, the P5s, some Murn Foundation, some of the mental health charities, and asked them, would that be something that they would be able to use during the day? Because the problem is, and all the answers shows, is that a lot of them aren't used during the day, and that's why you can't get funding. So we've had a lot of positive feedback, especially with the P5s, and they're more than happy because they're obviously spaces at a premium. So one other thing we did during the build process was we engaged with Renfrew High and Trinity High, and the end is down there, and you happen to look over, you see picnic benches inside the gated area. They were all constructed by the kids at the high school, at both high schools, and they're currently working on small ones, wee kiddie benches, because the P5s nursery had suggested that they, on a nice day, could take the kids outside to eat their lunch. And also they were quite keen to use it because there was handicapped kids and kids with extra needs. And that is what a Cruyff court is for. It's a bespoke court with a number of different sports. All the schools that I spoke to didn't have the actual facility, were very happy to use it. So at the moment we've got 3 11-a-side pitches, 2 4-a-side and 1 9-a-side, all crammed into the space at Kirtland Youth. And also, we've not had it for a wee while, but we also host the dirt bikers and the quad bikers every now and again, riding over our pitches. But fortunately enough, we managed to deter them since maybe 6 months ago. So apart from that, we're growing all the time, and hopefully we continue to grow. Sorry, Tom.
Listen, keep your football rivalries out of here, so we're not having it. No, a huge amount of work going on over there. Obviously, I live close by, and it's great to see. And I think the Cruyff Foundation kind of court will make a massive difference. So lots of good stuff going on. So I think that's everybody. In case I've missed anybody that wants to tell us about it.
Power to your elbow, Stuart. Actually, I mean it's a friendly rivalry, and obviously it's for the good of the town. Obviously, we've got some of the same aspirations as yourself. I mean, we've got walking football now. We've got mental health, etc. Similar to yourself, and it's largely down to money. I mean, as an example, we've got floodlights, and our bill for floodlights last year was something like just over £12,000 was for the bill last year, and this year it's up nearly £25,000. You know, so it's very, very difficult, you know, to keep these organisations going. And you know, like yourselves, we've got a ladies team. I think there's about 8 kiddies teams and a development team, and it's all, we're trying to get as many people, kids from Renfrew involved in it, actually, because if we don't get them involved in it, as you're doing, they get up to other pursuits which are a little bit unhealthy.
All right.
Just can I come in on that one, just maybe a wee bit of help for you, Tom? I spoke to the two Johns regarding just what you're saying about the floodlighting, and we put solar panels on the roof.
Yes.
And I spoke to our contractor regarding what he could do for you and how much it would cost, because he's did projects at Livingston, down at Leicester City and things like that. So
yes.
If you want to find out any more information, let us know and I'll point you in the right direction. But it's a massive, massive saving by the.
Well, John, it's sorry, thanks for that. I mean, I have heard of your facility, actually, and in fact, I wouldn't mind coming over and have a cup of coffee with you. I have spoken about solar panels. In fact, our local former local MP is involved with a company selling panels, so I have spoken briefly to him. But I would welcome a cup of coffee with you, just to have a look.
Just whenever you can, I'm over there every day, Tom.
Okay, thank you.
The former local MP has passed away a few years ago, Tom. That was Jim Sheridan. Is it the MSP you're talking about?
Oh, sorry, I beg your pardon, MSP. I beg your pardon. You're absolutely right, John.
No bother. Okay. Well, that was interesting. There you go. We've got a hookup there. So.
Well, that's what I was driving at, John.
No. All right, that was a good idea. And I'm glad to see. Hopefully, some good comes out of this. So that's us. The only other item on the agenda is the date of the next meetings, which is 4th September and the 4th of December. So we'll see you then, and have a good summer, everyone. I don't know, 4th of December, would that be a good meeting to bring back the reports that Kerry had suggested, Stuart?
Yeah, we can do that, Councillor Shaw. We'll aim for that meeting. We'll do that.
Good stuff. All right. Thank you very much for coming, folks. And we'll see you all soon. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
Thank you.